You can get the cards you need for today's Budget Magic deck and support the show from this episode's sponsor, Card Kingdom. Just follow the link in the description box down below.
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. So this week, we are doing something a little bit different. Most of the time on Budget Magic, we are playing original brews, but today, we have another ultra budget list that managed to 5-0 a league on Magic Online. So I figured we should probably run it through some matches, see how good this deck actually is. Do we really have two competitive ultra budget decks with this one and mono blue in Guilds of Ravnica Standard? Because that would be pretty sweet if there were multiple like $50, $60 decks that can actually compete on a tournament level. So today we are playing a deck I'm calling Draft Chaff White Weenie, and this build exactly comes from Yogi Brown, although there was a couple other people that managed to 5-0 with the deck too, so I don't know who exactly built it, but congrats to Yogi Brown for finishing 5-0 with the deck. A quick reminder before we break down Draft Chaff White Weenie for Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you enjoy Budget Magic in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk some Draft Chaff White Weenie, and this deck is pretty simple. It is a mono white aggro deck that is looking to be really aggressive and explosive and evasive, especially over the first like 3 turns of the game, and hopefully close out the game quickly before the opponent finds their sweepers or lyras or whatever big thing can ruin our plan. So the foundation of this deck is 4 different 1-mana flying white creatures. So these are our Draft Chaff creatures. Healer's Hawk, I mean, that is literally a draft common that you play in the Burrows deck. Rustwing Falcon, kind of like a bad Healer's Hawk. We also have Dustborn Sky Marcher and Sky Marcher's Aspirant. So Sky Marcher's Aspirant doesn't actually fly right away, but eventually it turns into a Flying Savannah Lions once we hit the City's Blessing. So the idea of this deck is, on the first couple turns of the game, we really want to play 3 1-drops. So a 1-drop on turn 1, 2 1-drops on turn 2. So to go along with our million flying 1-drops, we also have a few copies of Legion's Landing, which gives us a 1/1 vampire, and then also gives us some action for the late game where we're able to pump out some vampire tokens. If things go wrong, we have a slow draw, our opponent rests our board, gives us a little bit of extra value there. So along with a million 1-drops, we also have a couple of 2-drops. A Danto Vanguard, just really hard to deal with because you can make it indestructible. Also a 2-drop that attacks for 3, so another aggressive option. And then Remorseful Cleric, mostly in the deck as a 2/1 flyer to just keep beating down and being evasive, but also has some upside where if we play against Golgari or a deck with Arclight Phoenix, we can't just sack it to Tormod Script away our opponent's graveyard. So that is kind of the foundation of the deck. And like I said, what we really want to do is play 3 1-drops across turns 1 and 2, because that turns on our powerful 3-drops essentially. So Venerated Loxodon is our biggest payoff. If we can play a flying 1-drop on turn 1, 2 flying 1-drops on turn 2, on turn 3, we can convoke out our Venerated Loxodon, make all those 1-powered flyers into 2-powered flyers, which is a lot of evasive damage on the battlefield, and we get a 4/4 body left behind. And then if things go really crazy, we can occasionally play like 5 1-drops and convoke out Venerated Loxodon for free and put a counter on everything. So this basically is just a way to pump our evasive beaters and allow us to get in even more damage and close out the game even quicker. And then Benalish Marshal, kind of our backup Venerated Loxodon. Since we're mono white, the 3 white mana cost isn't really an issue. The upside of Benalish Marshal is it's always 3 mana. Sometimes if things go badly, Venerated Loxodon costs full price, we don't get counters on anything, it's very sad. Benalish Marshal is always 3 mana, so we go 1-drop into 2 1-drops into Benalish Marshal. That's going to happen every time. The downside is the benefit of Benalish Marshal is giving our creatures +1/+1, so if our opponent can kill the Benalish Marshal, that benefit goes away. Venerated Loxodon, since it's putting counters on things, even if our opponent Lava Coils or Vraska's Contempts our Venerated Loxodon, we still get that buff on the rest of our creatures. And that is basically the main plan of the deck. Flood the board with 1-drops, have a couple of good 2-drops thrown in for value, and then use Venerated Loxodon and Benalish Marshal to pump those evasive 1-drops into really fast clocks. Finally, we have have a couple of other pump spells. Gird for battle looks a little bit weird, but if we could go 1-drop into 1-drop on turn 2, we can use this also on turn 2, and again make our 1-power flyers into 2-powered flyers. Another way to increase our clock, and remember too, we're still in a format where things like Goblin Chain Whirler exist, so being able to get some of our creatures above 1 toughness is actually kind of important in certain matchups. So being a +1/+1 counter, rather than just a random pump spell, is actually really key here. And then Pride of Conquerors is our finisher. So we flood the board with stuff, eventually we're going to turn on City's Blessing, and then for 2 mana we're able to give our entire team of mostly evasive flying creatures +2/+2, which pretty much means our opponent's just going to die on the spot. Mana base wise, 18 planes, really straightforward. In the sideboard, we get Knight of Grace to bring in against black decks where they really struggle to kill it thanks to the Hexproof from black ability. Tecatli Honor Guard shuts down Enter the Battlefield abilities against decks like Golgari, and then a bunch of removal. Baffling End for the early game, Conclave Tribunal is a catch-all, and then Bounty Agent, kind of funny, but Lyra is really devastating for this deck. So it gives us an answer to things like Lyra and other legendary creatures, while also having a body that we can attack with and get in more damage with. So kind of a sweet addition to the sideboard. And that is Draft Chaff White Weenie for Standard. And that's our Budget Magic deck for this week. So how is this going to go? I think hopefully it goes well. The deck has very powerful starts where when things go well, we have like 6 power of flyers on the battlefield on turn 3, along with a big Venerated Loxodon or Benalish Marshal, so we can get some absolutely insane starts and insane draws. On the other hand, we don't really have any card advantage or card filtering, so in some sense, we're at the mercy of our deck. We're going to have some hands where we get 1 land and our deck just doesn't function well. On the other hand, we're going to get some draws where we draw like 5 lands and just not enough action. So that's always the risk with decks like this, is you're kind of at the mercy of how many lands you draw. And you really want to be in the sweet spot of like 3, maybe at a maximum 4. And games where you draw 1 or 2 lands, you're going to have a hard time much of the time. And games when you draw 4 or more lands, you're going to have a hard time because you're not going to have enough action. So when you get those good draws with the right number of lands, which is what the deck is designed to do with 18 lands, hopefully you're going to get up to about that 3 land mark and not keep drawing more lands. But you will lose to yourself occasionally just because the deck doesn't really have a way to fight through that. But the upside is the starts could be fantastic. Like the highest upside start, just picture this. In our dream scenario, we can go 1-drop on turn 1 like Healer Hawk, 2 more flying 1-drops on turn 2 like Rustwing Falcon and maybe Sky Marcher Aspirant. On turn 3, we could technically play 2 more 1-drops and then use Venerated Loxodon for free and end up with like 10 power of flyers on the battlefield at the end of turn 3, which is just an insanely powerful start. And with 16 1-drops with evasion and essentially 8 copies of Venerated Loxodon if we count Benalish Marshal, those kind of starts aren't all that uncommon, and most decks of the format are going to struggle to beat with this. So you get a lot of explosion, but we will lose to ourselves on occasion. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Let's see if ultra budget Draft Chaff White Weenie can actually compete in Standard. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the gameplay, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. All right. Budget Magic time. We are trying out this new ultra budget White Weenie deck for Guilds of Ravnica Standard, seeing if this deck, can it match up to Mono Blue in terms of level of competition? Rustwing Falcon, go. Do we really have 2 competitive ultra budget options in Standard? Opponent, Thought Eraser. All right, gonna take, oh man, this probably means main deck Ritual Assaults. Yeah, I don't know how this goes, honestly. Probably poorly. Opponent, Thought Eraser. Thinking. Takes Venerated Loxodon. Surveils a Search for Azcanta. And passes. I'll play a Plains, play Legion's Landing. Play Rustwing Falcon. Go attacking. Opponent down to 19. And let's see what the follow-up is. Swamp. And considering carefully, Thought Eraser number 2. Now, Thought Eraser is kind of slow. Takes Grid for battle. Or Gird. Gird for battle. Yeah. Mills of Duress, good God. Opponent seems prepared for the control matchup. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Flip a Danto. Hit our opponent. What do we do? Like, we need to pressure, but then Ritual of Soot just wipes us out, and apparently our opponent's all in on the control plan. I don't know if we can afford to try to play around it, though. Let's play Healer Hawk. Pass the turn. I mean, if they just untap Ritual of Soot, then I guess you got us. Disinformation Campaign. So we will discard Legion's Landing. Opponent passes. Well, play Benalish Marshal. Hit our opponent for 8. And, I mean, our opponent's under a lot of pressure. They really have to Ritual of Soot this turn. And opponent scoops it up, and we got there. All right, sneaking in past the control deck, that went pretty well. That went pretty well. I was nervous, but we got there. And now we get to bring in Knight of Grace, which should dodge, like, all of our opponent's removal, pretty much. I think we go down... Remorseful Cleric is, like, semi-relevant. Bounty Agent could also be worth it as well. Our opponent doesn't have many blockers. Let's go down a couple Remorseful Clerics. Maybe we go down all the Remorseful Clerics. Let's go down all the Remorseful Clerics. And Vanguard's good. Knight of Grace, really good. Pride of Conquers. Let's go down 2 Grid for battles. Gird for battles. Try it like that. Well, that was a good start for White Weenie. All right, we're going to keep this. 1 land on the draw, not ideal, but tap land for our opponent. As long as we draw a land in our first 2 turns. All right, well, land and Sky Marcher Aspirant. Pass the turn. We would really like to draw land number 2. Opponent passing. Well, that's a land. All right. So get in with Sky Marcher Aspirant. Hit our opponent. Play Sky Marcher Aspirant. Play Healer Hawk. Pass the turn. Come on, no sweepers. Swamp. Opponent passing. I'll play a Plains. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent to 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let's just pass. I don't think we can run out more stuff into a sweeper. Land for our opponent. We couldn't turn on City's Blessing anyway. Oh, Chupacabra. Okay. Well, that could have been worse. Kills an Aspirant. Opponent passing. Ugh, that would have been so sweet last turn. Play Legion's Landing. Get in with Healer Hawk. Play a Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. No Ritual of Soot, please. Please, please, please. Opponent. Land. And passes. Well, go to combat. Opponent Vraska's Contempts. I'll go attacking. Transform. Yep. That's good. Now we have a steady source of tokens at least. Well, let's just Pride of the Conquerors. Kill the Chupacabra. Hit our opponent to 9. Play Bounty Agent. Pass the turn. Swamp for our opponent. And passing. Ooh, Loxodon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, play Sky Marcher. Go to combat. Attack. Vraska's Contempt Sky Marcher. Yup. Opponent down to 8. And now we can Venerated Loxodon. Grow the Dorks. Pass the turn. All right, opponent. Can you find a sweeper or something? We're right at the point of winning. Opponent. Blood Operative. All right. I guess a little bit of life gain is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're still a minute away from actually turning on this Pride of Conquerors. Opponent. Ooh, another Loxodon. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Man, they're really good at drawing Vraska's Contempts. Opponent takes their beats. Well, Venerated Loxodon. Opponent's almost out of cards, though. Come on, no sweeper. No sweeper. Opponent. 2 mana. Discovery. Go surveilling. Still very afraid of Ritualist. That's the main thing we're worried about now. They're about out of Vraska's Contempts. There's just not Vraska's Contempts left in their deck. They've already played 3. And the Chupacabra. And we're still really pressuring and close to winning. Opponent hits a Blood Operative. Does not pay to get it back. 4 mana. Is this Vraska's Contempt number 4? Chupacabra. Yeah, that's pretty good for our opponent. Chup kills Bounty Agent. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Get in with our Sky Marchers. Opponent down to 4. And pass the turn. We're close. We're close. Can we get across the finish line? Opponent passing. Well, make a token. Kills a Sky Marcher. Well, they are chaining their removal together. Yup. Opponent passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, go to combat. Get in with Sky Marcher. Hit our opponent down to 5. Play Rustwing Falcon. Play Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Come on. Give us one whiff. One whiff. They got to draw land sooner or later. Like, that's just how Magic decks work. Last card. Wow. Wow. Their running has been very solid. Very, very good running for our opponent. I will give them that. They have just strung together every removal spell they needed. All right. Opponent attacks. Well, we will kill Blood Operative. Opponent goes to 10 temporarily. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Go attacking. Opponent down to 7. Play Adanto Vanguard. Pass the turn. Opponent search for his Kanta. All right, that's good, but a bit slow. Opponent passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we just cannot turn on this. We just cannot turn on this City's Blessing. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. Well, Indestructible. Pride of Conquerors. Opponent to 1. Play the Plains. Pass the turn. All right, opponent, you get to flip your search. Can it get you out of this? Putting our opponent to 1 means they don't get to get back their Blood Operatives. What does our opponent find? As Conta activation. Ritual of Soot doesn't do it now because of Adanto Vanguard. We might have this. Boy, this ended up being a close battle. Oh, man. We got the GGs. Wow. Opponent, yeah. No sign of their board wipes, they said. And we managed to sneak it out. Well, that was pretty good for Ultra Budget White Weenie. Our opponent had a ton of targeted removal, and we still ground him out eventually. Sweet. Wow, they whiffed? Okay. Opponent whiffs with his Kanta and scoops it up. All right. Score 1 for White Weenie Flyer Ultra Budget is. Sweet. All right. Budget Magic time. We are playing some Ultra Budget White Weenie in Standard. Seeing if there's another competitive ultra budget option in the format. And this hand's a little sketchy, but it's close enough. Legion's Landing, go. Like, the Venerated Loxodons are super powerful. The problem is we don't have many 1-drops, so there's a chance we draw awkwardly. I guess if we draw lands, we get to Benalish Marshal. If we don't draw lands, we should be drawing 1 and 2 drops. Oh, no. Just kidding. Our deck has everything costs 1 and 2 mana except for a playset of Benalish Marshal and a playset of Venerated Loxodon. So that was a slightly unfortunate draw. Opponent, Clifftop Retreat, and Martyr of Dusk. Spicy. Opponent passes. Well, that is a 1-drop. Play Dustborn Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Yeah, we're kind of doing it the hard way-ish. I mean, once we start playing Loxodons, things are going to be sweet, hopefully. Rootbound Crag. Naya. What is our opponent doing? No, it's another History of Benalia deck. All right. Lots of History of Benalias these days. Opponent. Passing. Well, play Sky Marcher as Pirate. Pass the turn. This is honestly a little bit slower than we're hoping for. We would like to be more explosive than this. Yup, another Night token. Rootbound Crag. Knight of Grace. Jeez, that's a lot of knights. Wait, just get it. Oh, that's not a knight. Adonto Vanguard. Opponent gets in. Well, or not. Can we survive this? Well, play Healer Hawk. Play a Loxodon. We are going to get epically smashed this turn. With this History Benalia going off, we are taking an insane amount of damage. Temple Garden. Oh no. Lots of mana. Okay. Well, I think you might have got us about it. Yeah. I think we're just like straight up dead. Okay. Huge attack. We take 19. I guess we block here. We drop to 2. I mean, I guess the History of Benalia went away, so that's good. But I still think we're just super dead. Adonto Vanguard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah. Yeah, alright. They got us. Well, that was a pretty powerful start for our opponent's deck. History of Benalia, that's a card that we don't have access to, thanks to being ultra budget. I don't know if Decatli Honor Guard is actually worth it. Bounty Agent kills Tristani, which I guess is probably more relevant than Remorseful Cleric, since our opponent doesn't really have graveyard stuff. And then Knight of Grace, no. Decatli Honor Guard, probably not. All we really saw was Tristani that actually did stuff. Maybe we go down a couple Gird for battles and go up the Conclave Tribunals. Let's try it like that. Opponent's start was extremely scary. All right, we are on the play. 1 land. Yeah, I think we gotta ship it. Oh dear. Oh dear. Huh. Magic God's not smiling on us today. I mean, I guess we'll keep this, but I don't know if there's any... Do we actually keep a hand that we don't know if there's any way it allows us to win? That's probably not smart. Like, how does this hand work? We scry into a land, draw another land, and play Benalish Marshals in hope? Could a 5-card hand be better? That's a whole nother issue. Opponent's tanking. Yeah, I think we keep mulliganing. Yeah, alright. It is what it is. We'll keep Bounty Agent. Alright, play a Plains. Play Sky Marcher Aspirant. Pass the turn. Well, I mean, you never know. Sometimes 5 cards is all you need. Opponent passes. And upkeep stop set. It's been a while since we've had an upkeep stop set. Get in with Sky Marcher Aspirant. Upkeep stop is a great stop to have access to, but it is probably the most annoying stop to have if you don't actually have a play. Adonto Vanguard. Opponent passes. I'll play Bounty Agent. Opponent considering the Agent of Bounty. Alright, get in with our flyer. Opponent down to 16. Pass the turn. I think one of the challenges with mulliganing so much with this deck is we just don't have enough cards in an absolute sense to turn on City's Blessing. Ugh, History of Benalia. Ugh, that card is so brutal. Yup, opponent gets in. Well, we'll take it. Down to 17. Opponent passes. Well, I guess we just run out Venerated Loxodon, grow the Dorks, pass the turn. History Benalia, yup. Makes a knight. I mean, you can see the power of this deck. Even with our 5-card hand, we're often not a horrible start, even for 5 cards. Opponent. Thinking. Plays a land. Benalish Marshal. Pumps the Dorks. Ooh, and is a knight. Opponent. No attacks. Legion's Landing. Well, play Legion's Landing. Make a 1/1. Conclave Tribunal. Get rid of Benalish Marshal. Pass the turn. So opponent, ultimates are History Benalia, but only 2 knights this time. So we shouldn't be just dead. Land for our opponent. They do have Tristani. Make some dorks. Opponent attacks. Well, I think we need to block with the vampire. We really want City's Blessing, though. Block with the vampire. Down to 9. Opponent passes. Planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One short again. Well, play the planes. Go to combat. Attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Attack with everything. Transform. Make a lifelink token. See how our opponent blocks. Blocks. Unblocks. Blocks. Okay. Yep. And now we just kill Tristani and hope we're not dead. If our opponent has a removal spell or a pump spell, we're dead. Land for our opponent. That is a pump spell. Well, for being a 5-card hand, we actually made that a pretty impressive game. We started with a horrible 5-card hand on the play, and we actually made it very close. Our opponent needed to... and you got to consider as well, our opponent had a very strong hand. Vanguard into History of Benalia, into Tristani, into Heroic Reinforcements. So our opponent needed, I would say, an above-average hand to beat our 5-card hand. So even though it goes down as a loss, still can see the power of the deck. Oh, and the Benalish Marshal, we forgot about that. Well... would have rather won, but still can see how good the deck can work sometimes. All right, budget magic time. We are getting super cheap and super aggressive, and also super mulligan-y this week. Ultra budget White Weenie for standard. And yeah, 0 lands. Oh my god, 0 lands. All right, let's do it. 1 land hand. We gotcha. Actually, we probably don't. Memorial to Genius for our opponent. Well, 5 cards is not many. Opponent passes. Well, play the planes. And let's Legion's Landing. Pass the turn. Forest. Elfin Druid. Okay. Well, play the planes. Play Sky Marcher Aspirant. Go attacking. And, oh, this is a sorcery. All right. Forest for our opponent. And ramping. Sure. Grow from the ashes. Get some lands. And more Elfin Druids. Well, that is the ultimate ramp start. Well, play a Danto Vanguard. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. Opponent. Oh boy. Another Grow from the ashes. Sure. Basically we just have to hope our opponent doesn't have a payoff. That is the name of the game. Opponent. Elvish Rejuvenator. Well, play a planes. Play... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Play a Danto Vanguard. Play Gird for battle. Go to combat. Attack. Transform. Opponent blocks. Well, kill Rejuvenator. Pass the turn. Opponent. Passing. Well, play Benalish Marshal. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Oh, opponent's playing some fogs, I see. Opponent fogs. Yep. And Nexus of Fate. Well, we're probably just dead then, I assume. Opponent. Follows it up with Mending a Dominaria. Okay. Little less scared. Elvish Rejuvenator. But our opponent does get 2 turns in a row here. Mending of Dominaria. Well, it all depends on what's in our opponent's hand. Forest, 1 card in hand, although they can draw with these memorials at some point. Opponent's got all the mana. Do they have a payoff? It's a Nexus of Fate. Alright, so they get an extra turn, and they get to start drawing cards. So our opponent probably just wins here. Lands, sacks Memorial, Yeah, I mean, our opponent should win here. Opponent. Sacking lands. Gets back lands. Full hand. Ooh, tap land. And Llanowar Elves. I'll play the plains. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Maybe we could jank our opponent out. If they don't block properly, we could. Actually, do we steal this? I think we do. Wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, I think it's... This hopefully is lethal. Cast. Lethal? Exactly. Okay. Wow. We got there somehow. I don't even know if we change anything. Conclave Tribunal, once they play their big things, they win. Tecatli Honor Guard, no. Knight of Grace, no. Bounty Agent, no. Only hits Legends. Baffling End. Alright, same plan. Play cheap white things, attack. Okay. This is actually a pretty good hand. 2 1-drops, hopefully a Venerated Loxodon, and a bit of pump. Alright, Llanowar Elves for our opponent. I'll play the plains, and let's just Rustwing Falcon. Pass the turn. Hinterland Harbor. Opponent. Passing. Well, play the plains. Play Duskborn Sky Marcher. Play Grid for battle. Go attacking. Let's go, Rustwing Falcon. It's working. 4 is for our opponent. Passes. We draw plains. Well, Venerated Loxodon. Grow the Dorks. Pass the turn. Man, we're like building our own Delver of Secrets. Land for our opponent. Mending of Dominaria. Wait, do we win? Is this just the turn 4 kill? Play a plains. Play Legion's Landing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we're just short. Go attacking. Transform. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. Yeah, let's just hit our opponent down to 8, pass the turn. We were 1 permanent away from from having the full-on Pride of Conquerors kill. Opponent is going to have to start fogging, though. Opponent. Rejuvenator. Leaving up fog mana, most likely. Finds a Memorial to Genius. No yield. Okay. Let's make a token. Opponent passes. Play Sky Marcher Aspirant. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent blocks. And it looks like fog. That's a fog. Sure. Pass the turn. I mean, our opponent does have to fog, like, literally every turn. Or win the game. Gift of Paradise. Well, they still got a fog. Elfim Druid. Opponent. Passing. Well, make a 1/1. Untap. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. And blocks. 3, 6, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, play Pride of Conquerors. Oh, got him! No fog! No fog! And mono white. Even on the Moldify. Well, our opponent's deck, if they don't draw a fog, we have a really fast clock. So, okay. Not a bad performance for White Weenie. Sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are getting aggro. Mono white. Weenie flyers? Basically, in standard, all the cheap white flyers. So let's just plains and Healer Hawk. Pass the turn. Sacred Foundry for our opponent. Tapped. Well, play a plains. Play Duskborn Sky Marcher. Play Rustwing Falcon. Go attacking. Pass the turn. Clifftop Retreat. Knight of Grace. Okay. That can't block our flyers. Not a land, please. It's a land. We'll play the plains. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Down to 16. Pass the turn. Yeah, now we're flooding out a smidge. Opponent. Gets it. Yup. Down to 20. Sulfur Falls. History of Benalia. Alright, we need some payoffs here. Opponent passes. Pride of Conquer. We might be losing this race. Get in. We drew our 1-drops, but then we didn't really draw a payoff for all the 1-drops. Opponent. Yup, History of Benalia makes a knight. Opponent. Goes attacking. Right now we're at 7 permanents. We can go up to 8. Island. Rekindling Phoenix. That's not ideal. Opponent passes. A Danto Vanguard. Play a Danto Vanguard. Pass the turn. I don't know if we survive this turn, though. That's a big issue. We've kind of just flooded out. In our 18-land deck, this is a lot of lands. Opponent. Attacks, 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 attacks. 4, 8, 12, 16. Alright. I mean, if you got a burn spell, we're dead. Down to 1. Lyra. Okay, now we're also dead. Opponent passes. Play Sky Marcher Aspirant. Go to combat. I don't think this works, though. Attack. Man, we were actually close. Opponent blocks. So we Pride of Conquers. We Pride of Conquers. But Lyra means it's still game. Yup. Opponent goes to 18. Drops to 3. Oh, we were close. We were close. We needed one more action spell. We just didn't draw any of our pump or anything. So bring in the 3 Conclave Tribunals, I think. Go down. Maybe just Grid for battle. And let's try it like that. Alright, we get to play first. Alright. I mean, we gotta find curve. Little light on payoffs, but land and Healer Hulk. Pass the turn. Sacred Foundry. Untapped. Opponent. Passing. Well, get in with Healer Hulk. Hit our opponent. Play a land, and let's just a Danto Vanguard. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent kills Healer Hulk. Sure. Well, we got our opponent to shock themselves, so we kind of got 3 damage out of Healer Hulk. Land for our opponent. And passes. We'll get in with Vanguard. Hit our opponent. They have Seal Away. Well, opponent's got all the good removal, that's for sure. Play a Danto Vanguard. Pass the turn. Well, we're kind of off to a bit of a slow start now. Playing 1 thing a turn. Opponent's killing 1 thing a turn. And that's setting us pretty far behind. Venerated Loxodon. Well, get in with a Danto Vanguard. More Seal Aways? Good God. This control draw for our opponent. Well, play Remorseful Cleric. Pass the turn. Plains for our opponent. History of Benalia. That's a clock. Opponent. Passing. Well, get in with a Remorseful Cleric. Hit our opponent. Play Legion's Landing. Play Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Our opponent's getting to the Lyra part of the game, though, which is not great for us. And these Vigilant Knight tokens let our opponent attack and play defense. This might just be a hard matchup for our deck. Opponent gets in. Yep. Down to 19. Plays a land. Untapped. That means Lyra. And that means we gotta draw a Conclave Tribunal like this exact turn. Please, deck? Plains. Well, play Remorseful Cleric. Play Venerated Loxodon. But I think this all... Now that there's a Lyra, I think this all just goes for nothing. Venerated Loxodon. Pump the dorks. Pass the turn. But this Lyra's just... That's been the problem. It feels like we gotta be able to kill the Lyra right away, or we just lose to it. History of Benalia goes away. Opponent. Attacks, attacks, attacks. Yeah, we'll take it. Hit us for all you got, opponent, which is a lot. And they go back up to 18. We're down to 6. Follow-up. Knight of Grace. Last card. Another History of Benalia. Okay. Opponent passes. Well, play the planes, go to combat, attack with everything, transform, opponent, blocks, blocks, blocks. Alright, well, we will Pride of Conquerors, kill some stuff, hit our opponent for a ton, but Lyra, the Lyra of Doom. Oh, we just can't beat Lyra. It's just not a card we can beat. Opponent. Oh, top deck. Oh, opponent, so good. All right. Well, Lyra's good against our deck, admittedly. Opponent gets to hit us to 1. They gain an infinite amount of life, and and it gets vigilance. Yeah. All right. That does it. There's no winning from there. Well, both of those games, we would have won if not for Lyra. So maybe we just learned that Lyra is devastating. All right, budget magic time. We are trying out some White Weenie in Standard. And this hand looks pretty good. We got some cheap stuff. We got a Loxodon for pumping. Seems about right. Well, let's Plains and Sky Marcher Aspirant. Pass the turn. See what our opponent's up to. Island and passes. I'll play a Plains, get in with Sky Marcher, go attacking, hit our opponent for 2, down to 18. Let's play Rustwing Falcon and Duskborn Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Departed Deckhand. All right. That's some spice. What do we draw? Remorseful Cleric. Let's just go attacking. Hit our opponent. Yep. Trades. Well, play Remorseful Cleric. Pass the turn. Departed Deckhand. Is this Pirates? Island for our opponent. Exclusion Mage. Oh, maybe this is a weird take on Mono Blue. Yeah. Bounces our Remorseful Cleric. Sure. And passes. Well, replay Remorseful Cleric. Go attacking. Hit our opponent. Down to 14. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Ooh, Curious Obsession. Alright. Well, I think we gotta let this go and just keep attacking. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 17. Draws a card, unfortunately. And passes. I'll play the Plains. Play Gird for battle. Opponent counters. Alright, well now we'll just play Venerated Loxodon. Pump the Dorks. And pass the turn. This also gives us a good blocker for Exclusion Mage, which is pretty helpful here. Alright, Tempestion. That's big and annoying. Opponent. Ooh, alright, Curious Obsession down. We draw Plains. Well, get in with Loxodon. Opponent takes it. Play Adonto Vanguard. Another Wizard's Retort. Well, play the Plains. Play Remorseful Cleric. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent, what do you got? What do you got? Search for Azcanta. Spicy. Opt. Opponent puts a card on top. Passes. Well, go to combat. Attack. Gotta just try to close out the game. Opponent. Blocks. And blocks. Well, nuke the graveyard. Hit our opponent to 4. Play Remorseful Cleric. Ooh, they have a Wizard's Retort, but can't cast it. The wizard is down. Pass the turn. It's Kanta. Are we going to take down Mono Blue? Is Mono White the answer to Mono Blue? The ultra budget battle of Standard. Mills Essence Scatter. Too far behind on board for it to matter. What do you got, opponent? And scoops it up? Okay. Well, we managed to dodge the counters and get in underneath, and maybe this is a reasonable matchup. So we can bring in, I think, just 2 Baffling Ends and go down maybe 2 Gird for Battles. Well, yeah, let's just go down 2 Gird for Battles since our opponent can bounce our creatures anyway, and let's just try it like that. All right, so we are on the draw this game. See what our hand looks like. All right, this looks good. We got 1-drops, we got a payoff, we got a removal spell. We'll keep this. Island for our opponent. Well, Plains and Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. And Warkite Marauder. Yup. Opponent passes. Well, play a Plains. Yeah, let's go attacking. If our opponent wants to block, that's fine. Opponent takes it. Play Healer Hawk. Play Sky Marcher. Pass the turn. Island. There's a Curious Obsession. So opponent's going to start drawing cards. Gets in. Hits us. Yep. Well, we'll take it. Letting our opponent draw cards is not ideal, but our opponent's drawing lots of counters, and if we can get far enough ahead on board, those shouldn't be super effective. So down to 17, opponent draws. And passes. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Okay, opponent's got a Trickster to kill our Healer Hawk. So this isn't great, but it does let us get rid of Curious Obsession. So we hit our opponent. Baffling End. Get rid of the Marauder. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Goes to combat. Gets it. Well, we'll take it. Down to 15. Opponent passes. Now play a Plains. Go to combat. Attack. Yeah, let's just attack with the Aspirant, so we don't get blown out by another Trickster. Blink of an eye on Baffling End. Okay. Gets a Dinosaur. Alright, well, pump our Vampire. Kill the Dinosaur. Play Remorseful Cleric. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. And Exclusion Mage. Bounces our Cleric. Well, hopefully we draw a land here. Being able to play 2 things would be pretty helpful. Opponent gets it, hits us. Down to 13. Passes. Land? I guess if we don't draw a land, a 1-drop is our backup hope. Alright, there's a land. So play the land. Play Remorseful Cleric. Opponent counters. And I'll play Adonto Vanguard. And get in for 1. Opponent's down to 2 cards. The question is how many of those cards are counters. Opponent gets in, gets in. All right, we take it. Down to 9. Opponent, Tempest shit. Well, Baffling End. Get rid of Tempest shit. Rustwing Falcon. Get in with Vanguard. Hit our opponent. Down to 11. Pass the turn. Oh boy, this is close. What do you got, opponent? Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, we will double block. Man, this has been a really close game. Kills the Falcon. We kill the Trickster. Land. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Get in with Vanguard. Opponent takes it. Venerated Loxodon. Resolves. Okay. Okay, what do you got, opponent? What is in their hand? Warkite Marauder. Sure. Opponent. Passing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent blocks. Okay. Put our opponent to 2. Play a plains. Loxodon. Alright, 3 lethal threats. Opponent untaps. There's the Obsession. But does our opponent have a way to deal with all... They're going to need, like, multiple Tricksters. Gets in, draws a card. Yup. They need Merfolk Trickster plus another way to deal with a creature. Down to 4. Oh, and we got the GGs. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That was close. That was close. Well, apparently Mono White has the power to keep up with Mono Blue. Well, not bad. Not bad for Mono White. Sweet. And our opponent officially scoops it up. So, well, we got there. Mono White taking down Mono Blue. That was a close game. We felt right on the edge, but getting it under the counters definitely helps. All right, sweet. So what do we learn this week about Draft Chaff White Weenie in Standard? And overall, we finished our video matches 3-2, although we actually played against the white-red / Jeskai Angel deck 2 other times, lost to it both times. Our deck does not like Lyra. That's one thing we've learned. Sweepers with Lyra, oh my god, that is brutal. So that means overall, we were 3-4, which is slightly less exciting, although, like I said, a lot of our losses were to one specific bad matchup that we just kept running into repeatedly, and I didn't show you all the matches. So the deck itself, I mean, for $64, you can't really go wrong. It is competitive enough to win a lot of games. It gets some insanely explosive starts. It's hard for a lot of decks to deal with because we have so many evasive creatures. So a lot of the plans of standard decks, blocking on the ground, gumming up the board, that doesn't work very well against our deck. And the deck is super fast and fairly consistent when we have reasonable draws. The downside of the deck is we definitely lost a reasonable amount of times to ourselves, where we would either get stuck on one land and not ever draw another land, often after mulliganing once to begin with, or we'd have games where we drew like 5 or 6 lands, and when either of those things happen, the deck really struggles. We really need that solid draw of like 2 to 4, I guess, lands, somewhere in that range, ideally 3. And the deck is very powerful, but when we get kind of the bad draws on either end of the scale with too few lands or too many lands, we don't have card draw and card filtering that a lot of other decks have in Standard with Explorer mechanics and actual card draw like Chemister's Insight or Ops, so we don't have any way to overcome those bad draws. We're just hoping that our cards will overpower our opponent before they can deal with what we're doing, and that works really well with most of our hands, but then we get those fringe bad hands, and the deck feels really, really bad. So the other nice thing about this deck that I wanted to mention is, even though we're playing the ultra budget $64 version, you can upgrade this deck. You go up to like History of Benalish is one option. You can add red mana and some powerful red cards like Heroic Reinforcements to the deck and be Boros aggro. You can go into like a Jeskai aggro shell and play Teferis. So from this shell, there's a lot you can do with this as far as upgrading and making the deck even better. So even though we're starting with a $64 version, there's definitely plenty of tweaks and changes you can make, which, even though it's a mono white deck, it's pretty sweet that that's a possibility. And in Guilds of Ravnica Standard, it's so easy to splash another color that you can go a lot of directions. Selesnya aggro, Boros aggro, a more expensive version of mono white aggro. So there's plenty of things you could do if you do decide to start off with this deck. So overall, for being an ultra budget deck, I think Draft Chaff White Weenie is pretty solid. If you like getting aggro, you like attacking with evasive creatures, hopefully killing the opponent quickly, it seems like a pretty good option for Guilds of Ravnica Standard, so pretty sweet. Apparently we have 2 at least semi-playable ultra budget decks in Standard, Mono Blue aggro, Draft Chaff White Weenie. So anyway, that's been our budget magic for this week. Draft Chaff White Weenie for Standard. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.